What's up everybody, Krishna here, and in today's video we're gonna jump straight into some Flying Cup battles featuring a triple anti-flyer team comp in the Flying Cup. The reason I call this an anti-flyer team is because all three of these Pokemon do pretty well against other flyers. Obviously the biggest threat for this team, as for any other team, is going to be Aerodactyl, which is why you have Steel Wing on Skarmory, and Emolga and Articuno is going to do well against most of the other flyers as well, right? Again, like I said, this team is probably one of the strongest teams out there as far as Flying Cup is concerned, so there were some really good battles in here, and let's just get straight into it. So moving on to the first battle here, I'm going to be leading with Emolga, and the play is to try and win the lead as much as possible so that if they have an Aerodactyl in the back, I can line up my Skarmory against it. So we have an Emolga into an Emolga mirror matchup here. I'm actually running Aerial Ace for the first battle. I did switch it to Thunderbolt because I feel like Thunderbolt is probably better overall, because Aerial Ace is probably only going to help against a very few Pokemon like something like Tropius or Jumpluff or Gligar or something, right? But in most of the other cases, having Thunderbolt is going to give that one-shot potential, especially towards endgame. But anyways, I'm going to try and play out this mirror here. I'm going to try and win this lead because, like I said, if most people have Aerodactyl in the back, in which case I want to make sure my Skarmory goes up against it, right? Because Articuno has a terrible matchup against Aerodactyl, being double weak to Rock because of the Ice Flying typing. But then now they make a switch, and I'm going to go for the discharge here against this Gligar. They make a really nice switch to catch that on the Gligar. But Gligar is, again, double weak to Ice because of the flying ground typing, so Articuno has such a positive matchup against it. I don't have to shield the Aerial Ace here. I'm only running one move on Articuno because I think Icy Wind should suffice for the most part as far as Flying Cup is concerned. You don't really need Ancient Power or Hurricane as much. But they actually come in with Skarmory here, which is okay. We are able to debuff them, and because we got off the debuff, even though Steel Wing is doing super effective damage, I'm able to get off another Icy Wind here. And that's going to take out the Articuno. Gets the shield from the Skarmory, but this is a fantastic position to be in, right? I can basically come in with my Skarmory. They come in with their Emolga. I'm going to shield this up. Now this Emolga is completely dry on energy, so I know I can farm all the way down here, and I'm going to completely farm it down, and then Skarmory comes back in, and I'm going to overfarm a little bit, and I'm going to try and catch the Sky Attack on the Emolga, right? And this is perfect because at this point, this is GG's, and I can just basically come in with my Skarmory, and then I'm just going to farm up a little bit of energy and just make sure that I wait till they get into the red just to make sure. Then I'm just going to throw the Brave Bird here, and this is absolutely going to take out the Skarmory from that range there. So pretty close battle, honestly. I guess this is one of those battles where I didn't run into Aerodactyl, but I guess in most of the other battles that I had in the Flying Cup, I pretty much run into Aerodactyl like 80% of the times there. So anyways, moving on to the second battle here, we have an Emolga into a Skarmory. This is absolutely beautiful. Best case scenario, they make a switch into Altaria. I'm going to go into my Articuno here. This is perfect. We have the hard counters lined up here. And I'm going to shield the Sky Attack because it's going to do quite a bit of damage. And because these ice shots are doing double super effective damage, I know I can just shield once and farm all the way down, right? This is fantastic because having this much of an energy advantage is absolutely crucial, right? Whatever comes in, I can basically go for the Icy Wind debuff. They come back with their Skarmory, which is fine because we're going to be able to debuff, and then we should be able to get off another Icy Wind here, right? And I'm going to be able to get off another one here, even though those Steel Wings are doing super effective damage. I'm going to be able to get off another Icy Wind here. Again, they are double debuffed at this point, and they're not going to be able to farm down, so they make a switch into their Aerodactyl. This is perfect for me because I can come in with my Skarmory and completely farm down with Steel Wing, right? I do have to shield this because Rock Slide is going to do a lot of damage, and I do have to obviously respect the damage from Rock Slide, and then I'm going to completely farm it down here, and then yeah, they've basically got no play at that point there, so they decide to surrender. I mean, the fact that they aggressively swapped into Aerodactyl, you just saw much. I mean, basically they took out the Articuno with one quick move, and that's something that you obviously have to watch out for as well. So moving into the next battle here, we have an Emolga into a Tropius. This is one of those very few matchups where obviously having Aerial Ace would be helpful. Because that's going to do super effective damage, whereas these electric moves only do neutral, right? Because of the grass flying typing. But everything Tropius has is resisted by Emolga. Emolga completely walls Tropius. Grass and flying moves are resisted because of the flying electric typing. I'm going to go for the discharge for the first time, and then I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt, right? Because discharge is not going to do enough to take it out. But Thunderbolt is going to come close to taking it out. That it almost takes it out, puts it into perfect farm down range. I'm going to have to soak up a Leaf Blade here, but this is fine. This is not going to KO, and I'm going to be able to Thunder Shock down and come out with the discharge, right? I'm just going to go for the discharge at whatever comes out next. And it is a Golbat, which is perfect. This is going to do super effective damage, obviously. And it should get the shield from the Golbat, but the unfortunate thing is they're going to be able to farm down for quite a bit because those wing attacks are resisted. I'm going to come in with my Skarmory here, and I'm okay. Even if they go for Shadow Ball, that's not a big deal because it's not going to do too much damage. It does about 40%. But now they make a switch into their Pelipper. I'm going to go into my Articuno here, and this is game over at this point, right? Because we have a shield advantage as well. I'm going to definitely shield the first Weather Ball, and then I can probably let the subsequent Weather Balls go through once I get off the Icy Wind debuff there. So I'm going to go for the Icy Wind here. I'm going to do neutral damage because of the water flying typing. And then, yeah, I don't have to shield this one because, again, like I said, It's obviously going to do lesser damage, and I should be able to get off another Icy Wind here. And again, this is going to do a lot of damage to Pelipper, right? It does take it out there, and then they come in with their Golbat. I'm going to try and get off as much Ice Shard damage as possible. This is perfect. This puts this Golbat into Sky Attack range, and I'm not going to shield this just in case they bait with Poison Fang and then go for Shadow Ball. That would KO, but I know we can tank a Shadow Ball, and because those quick moves are resisted, I'm going to be able to get off a Sky Attack, and that's going to take out the Golbat there. Pretty close one there, as you can see. I mean, we still had a shield, but yeah, probably could have shielded the Shadow Ball, but like I said, if they had a lot of energy where they could have gotten off a Poison Fang, then the subsequent Shadow Ball would have KO'd, right? But anyways, moving on to the next battle here, we have an Emolga into an Aerodactyl. So this is, when you catch Aerodactyl on the lead, I typically like to stay in because I don't want to switch out into my Skarmory, because the Skarmory is pretty much my only counter to Aerodactyl. So I'm going to stay in and force a shield with Discharge. But unfortunately, they're going to be able to farm all the way down. This is fine. I can basically come in my Skarmory here and try and farm it down. And now, because this is a Shadow Aerodactyl, I do have to respect the Rock Slide damage. So I'm definitely going to shield that up. And now they make a switch in their Mandibuzz, immediately going into my Articuno here. And we're on even shields right now, so I cannot really risk shielding this. I do need to preserve one shield for endgame. So I'm going to try and get off this Icy Wind here. It's going to do a lot of super effective damage against Mandibuzz. Does put it extremely low. Actually puts it into Ice Shard farm down range, but I'm not going to shield this. I'm basically going to try and come in with Skarmory and farm it down, right? It doesn't KO, but I should be able to get off some Ice Shard damage, and it ends up being a double KO, which is okay too. Gonna come back with my Skarmory here, and I'm going to farm this Aerodactyl all the way down. Luckily, they don't get to a charge move, and they have Gyarados in the back. Now, this is going to be very, very close. I'm going to try and go for the back-to-back Sky Attacks here. I'm going to go for the Sky Attack. Hopefully, this gets the shield from the Gyarados. But this is where I make that's such a novice mistake, right? I mean, I didn't get the excellent on the Sky Attack, which is really unfortunate. And that was very, very smart play on their part, because they knew that if they had shielded the Sky Attack, I could have gotten off a Brave Bird, but they don't shield the Sky Attack, and they're able to get to the second Aqua Tail, and that's going to take me out. So definitely a little bit of misplay on my part. If I've got the excellent on the Sky Attack, then I definitely would have had that game. But that was very, very smart. That was probably their only win condition, and they executed that perfectly there. So we have an Emolga Mirror here, and this time we are running Thunderbolt. So I'm just going to go straight Thunderbolt right now. I mean, you definitely want to go for the Thunderbolt in the Mirror matchup, because that's going to near one-shot the Emolga. As you can see that, I mean, that just did about 70-80% of Emolga's health, which is significant. And I was hoping this is going to be a Discharge, but they go for Thunderbolt as well. Now it's going to be a Thundershock farm down, right? And I'm barely able to get this farm down. I'm going to be able to win the lead and win switch advantage, which is huge because they have an Aerodactyl in the back as expected. And I'm going to come in my Skarmory here, and then, yeah, this is looking absolutely great at this point, right? And I'm going to actually shield this up because, like I said, I do have to respect the damage from Rock Slide. And they have a Zapdos in the back. I'm going to go for the Brave Bird. Even though Brave Bird is resisted, it should probably one-shot the Shadow Zapdos. If it goes unshielded, it does get the shield. That's fine too, because at this point, Ice Shard is absolutely chunking. Again, it's a battle of the two legendaries here, and Articuno is definitely going to be able to take this one here. So because Thunderbolt, I can shield that up and I can farm it all the way down. And then Aerodactyl comes in. I'm going to go straight for the Icy Wind to get off the debuff. We still have a Skarmory in the back, so we pretty much got this game, but they decide to let that go, which is kind of surprising because, I don't know, they probably thought that it was pretty much over already, but it would have been close if they had played it through. But I mean, like I said, we still had a little bit of energy on Skarmory in the back, so I guess we had that for the most part there. So we have Emolga into a Skarmory. Once again, fantastic lead. You definitely want to catch Skarmory on the lead. And the fact that they're staying in, that's a clear indication that, you know, they have multiple Pokemon in the back which are weak to Emolga. They make a switch into Talonflame, which is not a great for Emolga, which is not a great response to an Emolga either. And I can't switch out at this point because both my back Pokemon are weak to fire, right? So I'm going to have to stay in. I'm going to shield this up, and I'm going to farm this Talonflame all the way down. We have 2 discharges at this point, and the fact that they come in with Skarmory tells me that they have something extremely weak to Electric in the back, right? Probably a Water Flyer like a Gyarados or a Pelipper or something. But I'm going to be able to get off the back-to-back discharges here. Does a lot of super effective damage, and I'm going to be able to completely farm it down. I'm going to shield this up as well. And because those Steel Wings are resisted, I should be able to come out of this matchup with like more than just 1 discharge, right? And let's see what they have in the back. And as expected, they have a Pelipper in the back, and this is GG's. We're almost at 2 discharges right now. And because those wing attacks are resisted, and they decide to like let it go anyway. So that just one-shots the Pelipper, because they knew, as Home Slice Henry would say, the writing is on the wall. They kind of knew that anyway. So again, Emolga is extremely strong. I think the only real Pokemon that kind of really hard counters it is Articuno, or probably Aerodactyl. And you can also do super effective damage against Aerodactyl and Articuno as well, right? But other than that, Emolga is probably one of the best picks for the Flying Cup there. So, speak of the devil, we have an Aerodactyl on the lead. Again, we played the same way. Basically, go for the discharge, get a shield, allow them to farm down so that I can come in with my Skarmory here. And because this isn't a Shadow Aerodactyl, I'm not going to shield this time just to see how much damage Rock Slide does. That does about 60, that does a significant amount of damage, right? And also, unfortunately, we end up lagging quite a bit. And they're not supposed to get off the next one, honestly. I mean, I probably missed a couple of fast moves there, but I'm going to let it go through. I'm going to trust in Articuno to close this out because I know that the Aerodactyl is out of the way. Articuno is going to be able to sweep towards endgame, right? They have a Skarmory, and luckily this Skarmory is running Air Slash, which is really good for Articuno because if this was Steel Wing, this would have been tough. But Air Slash is only doing neutral damage, and I'm going to be able to get off this debuff as well. Definitely shielding this because they almost for sure have something in the back which is extremely weak to Articuno, right? And then I'm just going to try and get off this. I'm actually going to completely farm it down. I'm going to basically try and come out of this matchup with 2 icy wins. Even though I'm going to give up 2 shields, that's fine too. And now they make a switch into that Emolga. I have 2 icy wins right now. I'm going to go for the first one. This is probably going to get the shield from the Emolga. And because this is a Shadow Articuno, and also on top of the fact that we got a couple of ice shards through, this is going to one-shot the Emolga, right? And then Skarmory is basically going to go down to ice shard there. So extremely close one, but like I said, that's the good thing about having Articuno on the back is that once you can get Aerodactyl out of the way, Articuno is probably one of the best closers, especially when you can constantly get off that debuff. It's really solid towards endgame there. So we have another Shadow Aerodactyl on the lead. This is okay too. I'm going to try and go for the discharge once again here. Obviously, most Aerodactyls will shield, so this will because it's going to one-shot, right? And they're going to farm all the way down. I mean, the same play here, going to basically come in its Skarmory. And because it's Shadow, I don't think I'm actually going to let this through as well. This is actually ends up being an Ancient Power, which ends up working out in my favor. And I'm going to try and farm this thing all the way down, which is good. And then they have their own Skarmory. I come in, this is where I make a huge misplay, right? I really shouldn't have switched like that. This is the Steel Wing Skarmory. I should have basically stayed in with my Skarmory and tried to do as much damage to the opposing Skarmory. But this is not looking good because we're taking so much damage from the Steel Wings there. They're basically trying to farm all the way down. I'm going to go for the Icy Win here. Probably going to get the shield from the Skarmory. And then I'm going to come in with my Skarmory. Now they make a switch into their Altaria, I think. And yeah, this is, I mean, honestly, if I'd stayed in with Skarmory and tried and gotten off as many moves on the Skarmory as possible, Articuno could have dealt with Altaria in the back, right? But yeah, it is really unfortunate. I have 2 shields here, but you know, Skarmory is getting very, very low. And yeah, it basically goes down there. So definitely shouldn't have switched into Articuno like that. Definitely a bit of a misplay on my part, but yeah, you live in it. So anyways, moving on to the next battle here. We have Emolga into an Aerodactyl once again here. I mean, so many Aerodactyls, right? So just gonna go for the discharge here and then allow them to farm down, basically come in with Skarmory. This time I think I'm gonna shield. I do actually start. I mean, I don't shield again. I mean, I stopped shielding the Aerodactyl. I'm not sure if that was the best play, but anyways, they come in with their Skarmory right now. At this point, I'm staying in. I'm gonna go for the Brave Bird right now. I'm gonna try and do as much damage against this Skarmory as possible. And now I make a switch into my Articuno. And this is an Air Slash Skarmory, so this is okay because we're only taking neutral damage from those quick moves. And then I'm gonna try and farm all the way down. I'm gonna double shield and farm all the way down. And then because yeah, again, like I said, Articuno with energy advantage is gonna do really well towards endgame there. And they come in with their Articuno right now. I'm just going to try and go for the Icy Win here. We have two of these loaded right now, so we're able to get off the debuff. And then I was trying to overfarm a little bit. I was trying to click the Icy Win. I mean, we literally like had 25% health there. And one quick move basically took it out, right? I mean, we basically wasted so much energy. I decided to surrender the match. And yeah, we finished with a 3-2 set. So I had like a couple of 3-2 sets. Like mostly because of like a few misplays on my part. Honestly, I do believe that this team is far better than what I showcased. It probably is like you can go for like 4-1 with it if you're looking for a pretty solid team to move forward with. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and please do like and subscribe if you like this type of content, and I'll see you next time.